Ni hao. My name is Philippe GERWILL, and it is an immense privilege and honor to be speaking to you during this amazing event. I'm a French citizen and I spent about 40 years in a few industries in major global companies. I'm actually an executive advisor in Europe, but of course also in Asia, in Singapore, and needless to say in China, where I have a few collaboration engagements in the region of Shanghai, Qingdao, and of course Beijing and Tianjin. I'm a digitalization humanist, a futurist, and an innovation KOL. Before we move into the topic of today and the metaverse and where I see it heading to, let's quickly clarify what I understand by digitalization humanist. I'm a big advocate and supporter of all the new technologies, being it IoT, AI, blockchain, 5G, and whatever you want me to talk about. But I want those technologies to serve the human and not the other way around. Having clarified that, let's now move to the key topic of today and where I see the metaverse heading to. First of all, and I strongly believe in it, the metaverse is promised to be the biggest major tech disruption to our everyday life since the smartphone. And I grew up in an environment years ago where we didn't have smartphones. I remember the old paper time where you had so big piles of paper on your desk that you even didn't see the people behind it. And those people would never have imagined what happened when the smartphone came to life. On the other side, I think people today that grew up just in the smartphone world cannot imagine what it was before. So I see the same happening for the metaverse. So metaverse is going to be a tremendous change to our everyday life. Of course, we have some industries that are already closer and showing bigger progress in that. And of course, I cannot start without talking about gaming and especially VR gaming, where you get really this immersive experience and even kind of presence that you're not alone in the game, that people are around you. There are other industries moving quickly in the same directions, like digital fashion and of course arts and NFTs, which are key in the metaverse. But today, I would like to talk about a different space. I just had the opportunity a few days ago to provide an online course to some students, young doctors and pharmacists at a university in Romania. And the topic was healthcare in the metaverse, or I would even call it MEDaverse. So of course there are topics which are already quite advanced also in that space, even if it's a more conservative industry, but in terms of fitness and well-being. And having worked in pharmaceutical industry before, I was always feeling that we are not doing healthcare, we are doing sick care. We expect the people to be sick so that we can sell, pills and other treatments. So the world has to change and go more in the direction of preventive care to avoid to become sick. And there are already applications and this could be, of course, even more developed in the metaverse about nudging, helping and motivating people to do healthy things, healthy activities, working more, eating better, and even get that rewarded with tokens. So that's already reality, but it just has to move more into the metaverse space where you have feeling that it's really your life around you. There will be virtual gyms or even sport places, like playing basketball on a field, with players, from avatars or even players from other countries far away from you. That's what Metaverse is bringing, removing this aspect of distances and time. So you can have a team, with players from the US playing together with people from China, Asia, Europe, and playing against each other. Another space, would be virtual relaxation, which is even, I think, something closer to the Asian culture than in the Western world, So doing a yoga session in the comfort of your home while having the feeling to be on a beach, with clear blue water and nice palm trees. Going even further in terms of meditation, having the opportunity to do meditation with one of the most well-known monks somewhere in Asia. But all that happening out of the comfort of your own home and being immersed in the metaverse. That brings me to another very hot topic, in terms of healthcare, which is mental health treatments. We know that the mental health is a big topic and a very increasing topic and a difficult topic. So you could do treatments for PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety disorders, delusions, psychosis, hallucinations, or even eating disorders. There are already applications also using VR technologies for pain management to divert a patient's attention. And another topic which even increased already, and we got the experience during the pandemic, telemedicine. With all the lockdowns and all that, telemedicine got a huge boost and was used, or even forced to be used by many people. So it's about the remote care and the telehealth, shifting the point of care, avoiding that people have to travel, maybe even in traffic jam or long distance, to go physically to the doctor if it's not needed. There will be virtual hospitals, so you will move around, from in the metaverse, from one department of the hospital to the others, and you will go to the hospital physically only if really needed. Opportunity of medical diagnosis. Visual impairment could also be improved by devices, so with the improvements and new R&D and development, in the devices, like you have your wearables, you will be able to provide data that help to do remote diagnosis. And mentioned before, certain mental health conditions, so virtual therapies. Then there's a big space, the big opportunities in something which is very critical, but a lot of people are not aware of it, which is the whole medical training and education. So you can get trained on a simulation platform enabled by AR, VR, and XR technology, risk-free, and you will be immersed in that metaverse with having, professor, surgeon, teacher around you, helping you to do the right gestures, to get trained on. And I cannot talk about that without thinking about my friend, Professor Shafi Ahmed in London, who is the most watched surgeon in the world. He's providing training and education classes, sometimes to more than 5,000 people in more than 140 countries at the same time. So just imagine the possibilities, what that brings in terms of efficiency and productivity to train people. Just training 5,000 people, that would take months or years, and you could do that in one session. There are also medical procedures and surgeries that could benefit much more from the metaverse. So pre-operative planning and diagnosis process, high accuracy, high resolution CT scans, where you get more the use of 3D, and you can, move around these 3D CT scans rather than having something very flat like the old X-ray. Augmented reality in surgical procedures, like vein visualizer, where you can see the vein, so you could see the organ, through the body, so to better target and and help you in a surgical procedure. There are also robot-assisted surgery or remote surgery assistance that brings me to the point of the 5G technology. This is already happening, but you need 5G technology because you cannot afford any latency if you do a remote surgery. On the other side, we talked a lot about HCPs, so healthcare practitioners, but of course the same is also valid for patients. So you can do effective patient education independent of the language implications, because metaverse would be multilingual. And then the last point I'd like to mention in that space, and it's very close to my heart, is the dream of a digital twin. Doing some advisories also in the manufacturing space. We talk a lot about digital twins, and doing scenarios on equipments to predict, preventive maintenance and all that, to avoid to do it too late when the machine is breaking. I just imagine the same about my body. Having a digital twin of my body that I can feed with the data of the life, of what you're eating, the exercise that you're doing and all that. And based on that, you could get predictive maintenance, and react before your body is breaking. Like a GPS of your body, a GPS that gives you, find an alternative way or predict you to change, to take another route when there is a traffic jam. Of course, there will also be pharmacies, in terms of the whole healthcare business. There will be pharmacies in the metaverse, and some companies like CVS Pharmacy in the US have already filed for NFT, blockchain, and metaverse trademarks. So that's bringing me more to the commercial aspect also, but the key point for me is we should not imagine the metaverse with our short-minded mindset of the actual business models. There will be radical new business models. We have to open our mind and think differently, and this new business model, including financial and commercial models, will be quite different in the metaverse, opening new spaces. In terms of healthcare, I would start to talk about health is wealth, to make also money with your health and your right behavior, so to be rewarded for that, and getting monetization, getting paid for your data and doing things right. So there will be completely new business model in that space. But there are still key challenges. Of course, if I talk healthcare, there are clear challenges about regulations, data privacy and security, and of course also ethics. And we cannot avoid those discussions, and we have to put them on the table and address them. While there is resistance to change, adoption, and classical adaptation challenges, the technology that was actually allowing that we just talk about all that, because of the tremendous improvement, change, and capabilities, the technology has still some limitation. We will have to address topics like interoperability and scalability. But more importantly for me, it is the whole topic about accessibility. So we're still having high costs. We need to improve on that, like every innovation that was done, so that it becomes affordable for the mass users. There are usability discussions. What seems maybe easy for some people, to wear a headset may not be easy for some other people, and the plug and play concept is quite often more a word than the reality. It needs to become seamless. Maybe, today a VR headset is quite heavy, big, so it should become more seamless, even down maybe to a lens, to just put a lens on your eye that, have all those capabilities. And lastly, we should also talk about the internet access, because all what we're talking about here is based on internet technology. There is no metaverse without internet. And I think, and it's even linked, in terms of terminology to the Web 3.0. But we have to keep in mind that we still have challenges in terms of world internet penetration. The worldwide internet penetration is around 66%. That means that still 34% of the world doesn't have access to internet. And that is even very different from continent to continent and country to country. So if I focus on Asia, Asia has an internet penetration of 64%. And that's Asia. Luckily, and very impressively, I would say, China has an internet penetration of 73%, which is quite impressive if you think about a population of 1.4 billion. But this means still that 1/4 of China, of the population, doesn't have access to internet. So we have also to keep in mind to build the infrastructure and to allow to more people to join that metaverse revolution, and not just move on and letting those people behind us. So let's conclude. My last word is about, you hear often about this parallel world and virtual world, and I think it's a mistake, because we should not forget the real life. But my point is more that Metaverse should not be like a parallel world. It should be part of our life. It is not a separate world. It is our world. And it's just like the smartphone is not a separate world. It's part of our today's daily world, or it's even like dreams. Let's talk quickly about dreams. Are dreams part of our life or not? I would not argue too much. If you know the impacts that dreams have on our health, on our mood, and on our daily life. So I would say, dreams are maybe like the metaverse, but they have a big impact on ourselves. And this should be the same about metaverse. It's part of our life. It's not a separate life. And like the dreams, they are good dreams, but also bad dreams. And we have to take care that we will be more on the good dream side than on the bad dreams. Thank you very much for your attention, and please feel free to get in touch with me if you want to have more information or to have further discussion.